Today we talk about the Great Lakes Bay Vet Center, part of the Veterans Administration. And with us to talk about it this morning is Holly Van Buren. Holly, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being in today. All right, let's start with an overview of the Vet Center, the Great Lakes Bay Vet Center, and its relationship to the Veterans Administration.
Okay. So we are a VHA program. We were designed to meet the gap for veterans that may not connect well with traditional VA services or may not be eligible or eligible yet for traditional VA care. And the summary version is that we provide free confidential counseling to certain categories of eligible veterans, as well as family and friends that support their recovery and growth.
What do you mean by certain categories of eligible veterans? Aren't all veterans eligible?
No, but it is an increasing number of veterans. So
Okay.
we work at a vet center to provide services to anybody that walks in the door. If they are not eligible for our care, we do our level best to link them to services they are eligible for. Primarily, vet centers were designed to help combat veterans, and over time, additional categories of eligibility have been added, including veterans that worked as first responders, veterans that worked in mortuary services, military police, medics.
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity. The term combat veteran, pretty big encompassing term. Now, what do I mean by that? If I'm in the military, and let's say I got a desk job in Washington, but we're fighting over in wherever. Am I a combat veteran because there's combat going on, or do I physically have to be a boot on the ground?
It depends on the program that
I
you're
knew that
applying
word
for.
depends would be there.
Sure. Well, at vet centers, we do our level best to find a way for people to be eligible for the care that we provide, because we think that the service environment is valuable. While combat veterans, by technical definition, is boots on the ground, there are combat veterans that worked, for instance, with unmanned aerial crews. They were very much part of combat operations, even if they weren't boots on the ground, which is why I say that it depends.
I guess loosely I would define everybody as being involved in combat operations because
Right.
they all have a role.
Right, and none of those roles are unimportant. So we also work with people that experience military sexual trauma. We work with currently serving National Guardsmen and reserve members that might be having a mental health issue related to serving. We work with people that are deployed as part of national or statewide emergencies. So there's a whole lot of categories of eligibility at the vet center.
I'm going to throw this question out because it just crossed my mind, and you're not a doctor, and I don't expect you to give me a medical explanation. But have we done better with veterans that were suffering from PTSD?
I certainly hope so. We're seeing more people that are coming in and saying, I'm going to get help sooner. You know, vet centers were
Are
originally
more people
designed.
willing to come forward and say, I'm suffering from
Right,
it? That's
right.
the key.
Right. Vet centers were originally designed to support primarily Vietnam veterans who were not getting the care they needed, who were
Right.
not connecting with care
It was a
systems.
sad time in our history.
Right. And a lot of those individuals, 40 or 50 years went past before they realized that the symptoms they were experiencing were actually a result of combat trauma. So now I think it's encouraging. We're seeing a shift, that it doesn't represent weakness to say, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with any stressor, because it's not just PTSD. There can be all kinds of readjustment issues, and vet centers are specifically designed to help people make that transition from serving in the military back into their civilian lives.
The other thing they need to know is they're not alone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Before I forget, because we could talk for an hour and I would forget to ask the question we're here to talk about, you're moving.
We did move.
You did move.
We did move last year, but no one wants to do a dedication in the snow in Michigan. So we are finally in our beautiful new space where the Burgers restaurant used to be on West Side Saginaw Road.
That's where it is.
That is.
I thought that's what it was.
Yes. We are sorry that Burgers closed. We all love to eat there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we were so delighted when we found out that space was available because it moves us into a little bit more visible location. We serve 15 counties.
Did you take out the kitchen and the bar and all that stuff?
We did. Yeah. We have a little kitchen, not quite as big as the one that was there before.
Yeah. So you're right up there on Bay Road.
We're right up there on West Side Saginaw Road.
West Side Saginaw Road by then. Yeah.
West Side Saginaw Road, Bay Road, you're
just
in the
north
area.
of Delta Road.
Right, it's all the same.
The Old Burgers Restaurant, folks. So what services are there? A veteran thinks he or she needs services, wants to come and see you. What happens when they walk in the door?
We help anybody that walks in the door, veteran or not. If we don't have a service, we're going to try and link them to a service. So whatever it is they might have a need of, whether it's information, whether it's medical care, whether it's housing assistance, financial assistance, we primarily provide counseling. But that's not the only thing that is part of our mission. Information and referral is absolutely part of it as well. And,
veterans, there are all kinds of benefits. How many of them realize all the benefits they have and know how to access
a shockingly small number. So one of the things that is offered at our location, even though they're not our employees, we have veteran service officers that work with DAV and with the American Legion that work out of our vet center so that they can help veterans understand and apply for their benefits.
They're almost like case managers, aren't they, in effect?
Right. They are the people that know all the ins and outs of what eligibility is, how to apply, and they help guide veterans through that process.
And all the paperwork the government seems to love.
Sure. We have a little bit of paperwork at the vet center. We try to make that as painless as possible. And usually if someone walks in the door and they say, I'd really like to talk to somebody, we're going to have them in a room with a clinician that day.
And a lot of online stuff, too?
We also offer virtual services, and that's really important in the VA especially because a lot of veterans end up working in the VA, and they may not want to get their care from people that they work with on other cases and for other matters. So the vet centers, there's 300 of them across the country, and we can do virtual care with veterans anywhere in the world and do. And sometimes we're touching base with clients that are deployed. Sometimes we're touching base with people that work for the VA in another state and may not want to get services close to home.
So even though we have a hospital here, we're not the only vet center in the state, is that right?
We have 8 vet centers in Michigan. Mm-hmm.
How many VA hospitals are there in Michigan?
I believe 4. Don't quote me on that. The UP might be connected with Iron Mountain, which kind of straddles some state lines. But the major hospitals in the Lower Peninsula are Battle Creek, Ann Arbor, Detroit, and Saginaw. And we partner with the Saginaw VA Medical Center. We share a lot of caseload. There's some great folks over there that we enjoy working with. And people can get services at a vet center as well as at the medical center. They don't have to be in either or.
So when we talk about the Aleta Lutz Hospital here, the VA hospital, is it an inpatient hospital?
Aleta Lutz is not for most issues. They are an outpatient hospital, I believe. For us, the vet center is all outpatient counseling services. But in addition to our location in Bay City and virtual care, we also offer services at what we call community access points. So we cover 15 counties. We have access points in Flint. We have access points out in St. Louis, out in Gratiot County. We have a community access point up at the Oscoda Senior Center in Iosco County. So we try to work with community partners and offer services where our clients are rather than making them all come to where we are.
We're doing a better job today of taking care of our veterans, aren't we?
We certainly are. We even just recently started working with a support group that's meeting at an equine-assisted therapy program up in National City.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back. We're talking to Holly Van Buren from the Great Lakes Bay Area Vets Center, part of the Veterans Administration, the VAHA, actually. And we will be back. Let me talk about food for a moment here. The kind of food you get when you go to Krizak's House Family Restaurant. Best place to go for your authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Now's the time to think about getting together with friends or family for lunch or dinner, as well as events coming up soon. Graduations, confirmations, weddings, showers, anniversaries. Krizak's has an economical way for you to supply the food. You can order what you want in Polish and American foods, then just pick it up at the restaurant ready to go, or have your celebration right there. And don't forget, at a moment's notice, Krizak's can help. Call 989-894-5531. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan, on Bay City's south side.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. Jonathan Dent filling in for Art for the next segment or two here. We're talking with Holly Van Buren from the Great Lakes Bay Vet Center? Yeah. I missed the first little bit. I've been busy working, but I have done some research on kind of what you guys are all about, and it is a fantastic resource here in the region. Where were you originally located here in Saginaw?
We were on Bay Road for a while, then we were on Hampton Place. It was kind of hard for the veterans to find us, and we didn't have much drive-by, hey, that's a vet center.
Yeah.
Where our new location is a little bit more centrally located in our 15-county service area.
15 counties?
We do.
Wow.
As far north as Iosco, as far to the west as Isabella, and as far south as Genesee.
And I'm sorry if we've already covered this in the first segment. Tell me, and we'll move on. What kind of services are you providing?
Free confidential counseling to veterans and their friends and family that support their growth and recovery.
That is an interesting thing that it extends to the friends and family, because that's not something that we see when addressing a lot of concerns, whether it's mental health or physical health, whatever, that it involves that support structure on the side as well. What kind of services are there for those friends and family? What
counseling services as well.
Okay.
And the counseling has to link to the eligible clients' services.
Yeah.
So if you, for instance, are struggling with symptoms of PTSD and you'd like your partner to come in to learn a little bit about that disorder and how to be a support for you, that's a service we provide. If your partner has an attention deficit disorder and needs counseling for it, we would work with you to refer you to appropriate community services.
That's interesting. So do you work primarily, well, you said you provide the services. Where do you get the people to provide the services? Because you've got to have some qualified individuals providing this counseling service.
Yeah. You don't have to have a diagnosis to get services at a vet center, but all of our providers are fully licensed mental health professionals. We have 3 full-time counselors. I'm the director, and I carry a small caseload. And then we have our office manager, and we're a pretty small team, but we can generally get people in within a day or two of them reaching out for care. And if they walk in the door and say, I really need to talk to somebody today, they're going to be sitting down with the clinician that day.
That's awesome to be able to have that quick of a response time. How many clients do you have at any given time?
Currently, we have a caseload of about 200, and that's...
Oh, wow. For such a small team.
Yeah. And we provide services across the region, not just at our primary location, but we also have community access points in several locations, up in Oscoda, in St. Louis, in Flint, and in National City.
That's awesome. So this is not the question that everybody likes to get asked, but it's an interesting one when we talk about services like yours. How are you funded?
We are funded by direct appropriation. So the services are free. We don't bill insurances. There's no tiers of eligibility. If you're eligible at the vet center, you're eligible forever.
So you have a 15-county service area, a pretty small team for that. I imagine there are some organizations in that area that kind of overlap. Do you have partnerships with other groups
Absolutely.
and things like that where you're able to really leverage those opportunities?
We partner with the Saginaw VA Medical Center, the Ann Arbor VA Medical Center, the Detroit VA Medical Center, and their community-based outpatient clinics. People can get services from them as well as from us. And we work together a lot with community mental health, with veteran service organizations to make sure that if we don't offer the care, we can link them up with somebody that does.
That's what I was going to say is there's only so much you're able to do, but it's good to have those relationships with those organizations that are able to extend some different care. What kind of issues, and I'm not looking for specifics because we can't ask, but what kind of issues are common for vets in our region? Here, let me ask you this. Are you mainly working with older veterans who have been stateside for a while, I guess, or been out of the service for a while, or do you see a lot of the younger people that have just recently finished their service?
We're seeing an increasing number of younger people that have recently finished their service. The Vet Center program was designed initially to help Vietnam-era veterans who were not connecting well with traditional forms of VA services.
Yeah.
It was literally a peer program, people going out in the streets and saying, hey, brother, I see you're wearing dog tags. I see you're wearing a camo jacket. Do you know that you're eligible for health care? Do you know that you're eligible for housing? And from that, it shifted into recognizing that there were groups of people that might not be eligible for or connected with traditional care, but might still need some support.
Might not be eligible for traditional care. Can you go into that a little bit more?
Sure. Maybe they haven't applied to be been through the eligibility process yet, or maybe they're still serving in the National Guard, or they're still serving their reserve component, and they are not yet in the VA Medical Center side of things, but they might be having a mental health issue that really needs some support.
That's interesting. That's not something you think of very often. I've got Art standing here, but I want to ask one more question.
Sure.
What are some of those common issues that you see coming up with veterans in our community?
It might be trauma. It might be just stress dealing with daily life issues. It might be relationship issues. It's just a variety of things.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. And we'll take a break, come back. We'll have more with Holly when we return here on WSGW. Let me ask how you slept last night, because today we're asked to do more for less. So when you spend, theoretically, a third of your life in bed, you need quality sleep, and you can get it with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your dollars are spent, and they stay right here in our local economy. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. And they feature a 1-hour delivery window of your mattress to your home. If you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport, or visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com, or call them at 753-1757.
Get ready, Midland.
Hi, we're back with you, and in studio, Holly Van Buren, director of the Great Lakes Bay Vets Center. So, Holly, I want to ask this. A lot of veterans, some of whom I've known, they're reluctant to talk about their service, and may even be reluctant to seek service because they're afraid of for whatever reason. What's it like for that serviceman or woman who walks in your door? What should they expect? What's the procedures?
Hopefully what they experience is a warm and welcoming environment. They're going to be greeted. Sometimes it's by the receptionist. Sometimes it's by whoever is out in the waiting room. We have some veterans that stop in, have coffee, chat with whoever walks in the door. Sometimes that's an easier way for people to start that conversation. And we just explain what's available and ask them, what brings them in the door? What can we help with?
And typically, how long a session are we looking at? Somebody walks in the door until you finally say, yeah, we can do this, this, and this. How long?
Literally that day, if someone says, I really need to talk to somebody today, they're going to sit down and talk to a counselor that day. We'll worry about the paperwork and the ins and outs of that as we go along. We care more about helping the person in front of us than following a set protocol to get them in the door.
As the VA, do you have access to their service records, or do they have to bring any kind of proof with them?
Generally, we use a DD-214, which is their discharge paperwork, as a verification of service. If they're still serving, it might be a military ID, it might be their VA ID. We try to be fairly broad in what we accept as proof of serving.
Interesting you said that, because we think of veterans, we don't think of those in the military today. But you offer them services too.
We do. Including,
Can't they seek that within their own units and their own?
They can, and there are behavioral health services in all of the units.
Is that primarily what we're talking about for
Sometimes,
a lot of these folks?
Sometimes, because we also, eligibility is available to people using their education benefits. So sometimes people, for instance, that are serving the National Guard are also going to school, which can be very stressful.
Yeah.
So we try to provide services to that population as well. So it just kind of depends on the person walking in the door. But even if they're not a veteran, if they just want to know about services for veterans, or maybe they've got a loved one that they think is struggling and they want to know, how can I help? We're going to do our best to provide that person with support and information.
You literally talk to anyone who walks in the door.
We do.
So talking about the doors, when are your hours?
Typically 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. We have 3 clinicians that all have some evening appointment availability, and those are scheduled by appointment.
If a veteran is suffering and has an emergency, is there an emergency number they should call, or should they just call 911?
They can call 911. They can also call the Veterans Crisis Line. They can call
stop there. Oh. What is the Veterans Crisis Line?
You're going to ask me that question, and I'm gonna have it. Oh, there are so many. Realistically, if they call the main medical center number 497-2500, they're going to get a message that says, "Hey, if you're in crisis, this is a number you can call." If they want to talk to a person right then and there, they can do that. If they call our vet center and we don't answer, it transfers to our call center out in Colorado. That is manned by humans 24 hours a day. So if they can't speak to us immediately, they're going to talk to a person there, and those people are going to be able to get them in touch with us or any vet center anywhere.
And in terms of services rendered, the reason I ask this question is a number of years ago in the news, the VA did not come off looking very well, particularly because of an Arizona hospital where the wait times are outrageous and everything. Have we done a better job now in getting services to veterans in a timely fashion when they need them?
I like to think so. I certainly think that it has improved over the years. I think that there are challenges to that are too broad and too many factors to go into right now, but I think in general there's more of an acceptance that it is both necessary and important to provide that care, and also to get it and receive it, to have healthy relationships, to function in life after the military.
Do you help with survivors' benefits too, in terms of survivors who could come in?
Right. We personally don't, but we would connect them with a veteran service officer. Those are individuals that help not only veterans but family members understand and apply for benefits.
Well, they're all over the place too, aren't they? I know the Saginaw Y has, I think, a veteran service office.
There is. Most counties have a veteran affairs department, or they have a partner, for instance, in Saginaw with the Saginaw Y, where there are services for veterans that are supported from the county. And there might be money from the Michigan Veteran Affairs Agency that's channeled through some of these community partners in the counties.
Bottom line, though, to veterans is don't be afraid to seek help.
Right.
I mean, that's really what we're talking about, isn't it?
Right. We are in an era where it's fantastic if a veteran is in crisis. They can walk into any emergency room, any hospital, any urgent care, any VA medical center, and the first thing is not going to be, what are you eligible for? The first thing is going to be, how can we help you deal with the crisis?
Yeah, because unfortunately, the suicide rate has not been something to brag about.
No.
And you have that kind of crisis help, don't you?
Yes. Yes, even though we're not technically a crisis facility, we would definitely be working with someone that walked in the door in crisis.
Do you work with non-military, non-veteran affairs organizations in the area that
Absolutely.
deal with those things?
Absolutely.
So you're a referral service in many ways.
Yes, and those folks, God bless all of them, because there's so much need and they're tireless in their support of veterans and service members in our area across the region.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take our last break and then come back and finish up talking to Holly Van Buren, director of the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Center, located up on Bay Road, just north of Delta, in the Old Burgers Restaurant building. Is best way to recognize it. More coming up when we return.
Got a home repair problem? Don't get mad.
With you, Holly Van Buren with us, director of the Great Lakes Bay Vets Center, part of the Veterans Administration Health Authority. And they are located at the Old Burgers Restaurant up on Bay Road, just north of Delta. And you cover how big a territory, how big a region?
It is 15 counties.
Oh, gee, that keeps you busy. Okay, you found some phone numbers for us.
I did. So the crisis line is the number I thought. It's 988. You can also text 838255. You can go online and chat online with somebody, or you can call our call center, which is 1-877-WAR-VETS, which would be 927-8387.
Let me ask, in looking at the website, I see a lot of references to sexual trauma. Is that a growing problem in the military these days?
I think it's always been a problem. I think what's changed...
How we recognize it is that...
Right. We're acknowledging that it's happening and that it is important for people that have experienced it to receive services and support.
I mean, you know, in reality, the military is just another lifestyle, if you will. And in almost all lifestyles, there are these kinds of problems. Military is not exempt from them.
No.
And maybe even more susceptible to them, simply because of the type of service and the proximity and everything else. And is it something they want to talk about?
It's something that sometimes people walk in the door and say, I'm really struggling with this. Oftentimes, though, we find out about it after somebody has been in services for a minute, and then they feel enough trust in the provider or the environment to be able to say, I experienced this and this happened to me.
When someone walks in and they sit down with one of your counselors, does the counselor have to really draw it out of them, information?
Usually not. I've had a
Really?
lot of intakes where someone will sit down and say, I don't like talking to anybody, and I'll say, okay. And then they'll talk for 2 hours straight. Because it's a relief, I think, for many people to get to a place where they feel like they can share it. They don't want to talk to their families. They don't want to talk to their partners about these things. They don't want to bring those experiences into their marriages, into their relationships with their friends.
But they'll go talk to a stranger,
Yeah,
which is really interesting when you think about it.
yeah. I feel extremely privileged to be trusted enough with some of the worst things that people have experienced.
Does it work the other way? A wife or a husband come in of a service member and are having issues in dealing with their spouse because
Sometimes.
of the military service?
Sometimes, while our primary focus is always the service member, we expanded eligibility in the last few years so we can work with families of deployed service members. And then when the person comes back from deployment, then, eligibility changes. But we want to be able to support families who struggle often when their loved one is deployed and gone. And, that might be for 12 months, that might be for 18 months.
Yeah. We as a nation, I've always thought, had to do better. I mean, there is no excuse for example, homelessness in veterans. It just shouldn't happen. But it does. It does. Do you deal with those?
We deal with anybody. We have clients that have come in, actually people that aren't even clients, but veterans that have sometimes come in, charged their phones, cleaned up in our restroom, got a cup of coffee, chatted with staff a little bit about what they might need. We try to meet the need where it's at.
Which sometimes can be pretty difficult, I would think. And you have to have, I guess the term I'm looking for is a welcoming recipient.
Yes, absolutely. Vet center environments strive to be a place where people walk in the door and feel welcomed.
And all branches of service. Is one branch more susceptible than another?
No. I think that there's a lot of joking rivalry between branches.
Yeah,
and, a lot of discussion in our groups about, which branch had it worse, better, et cetera.
Yeah.
But I think any branch has its own unique challenges and experiences. And what I love about programs like ours is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which branch you served in. It doesn't matter if you served for a minute or your whole life.
That's the other thing. Length of service is not a determinant
No.
in terms of anything.
No, whether they're eligible for the medical center, they don't have to have a clinical diagnosis, they don't have to be service connected. We simply want to be a place they can walk in the door and get some support.
So we advise them to do it. So I'll give you this last minute. Tell vets why they should come and visit you.
We're free.
That's a good start.
That's always a wonderful thing, right? But more importantly, I think it's a place where our clients trust us. They feel the services are important and valuable, and it's there and it's available. And the more veterans and service members that use what's available, the more of an argument we can make to continue having that available.
Well, I can hear the compassion in your voice. It's important that you have that for these people who walk in the door.
We feel it.
Yeah, I imagine you do. Imagine it's difficult, too. Well, Holly, listen, I want to thank you for spending time. Any events coming up or anything we should know about?
We do. We have our open house and dedication of our vet center coming up next Thursday on the 20th. We are going to have an open house from 11 to 2 with a dedication ceremony, a brief one at noon, with some of our veteran clients that are going to share a little bit about their experiences.
Excellent. I saved it for the end on purpose. Holly, thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate it.
We appreciate being here. Thank you.
News is next, and then we'll be back with Focus McIntosh and Associates.
We're proud to make
Broadcasting from the